Hi, everyone, and welcome to Vikings Now. And your Vikings are now in a world of hurt. They lose 23-6. Jim Rich, Ahmad, Hicks, Pierre, Noujaim. Gentlemen, where do they go from here? Because there's nothing really to look back at in this afternoon's contest.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting here after the Ravens game. And remember, I told you, I said, after the Ravens lost, I was like, I think the season's about done. And then I, kind of maybe tempered my panic a little bit. But now last week I said the season was done. Now the season is really done. I think it's time for all the Vikings fans out there to look ahead to 2026 and what that team will possibly have to offer. It's going to be a very interesting offseason for the Vikings coming up. But as of right now, if we're talking about this team right now, this is about as bad of an offense as it gets, and I'm not sure how it's going to get much better. And that's one of the things we've been talking about over the last few weeks with J.J. McCarthy. It's more so, okay, I can accept the lumps he's got to take in the league and the minimal amount of starts he's had in the league so far, but I need to see improvement week after week after week. I'm not seeing any improvement, and I know I've been on record on this podcast saying I need to give a rookie in the NFL, I think somewhere in the 8 to 9 game range, to really give a fair analysis of how he possibly could fare as a pro, but I'm not seeing the progress on a weekly basis from J.J. McCarthy. That's the alarming part for me.
Go ahead, Ahmad.
I have no optimism left. And honestly, is there something to look forward to this offseason? Because General Manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah has been absolutely terrible at drafting. You gave away some draft capital to bring back Adam Thielen, who's been pretty much useless this year. I'm pretty sure he has more drops than catches. I don't know where they go. You paid a lot of older guys a lot of money.
Right.
Guys who have not lived up to their contracts. There's no optimism for me. I don't know where they go. They're a dumpster fire right now, unfortunately, and it doesn't seem like a fire extinguisher is anywhere close by.
I know. I'm just repeating myself. I'm just saying the same thing. You went into this year all in on a rookie quarterback, yet you went out and spent like a team that thought they could win a Super Bowl.
One of the most expensive rosters.
Yeah, $300 million they spent. We heard on the Fox broadcast today in the offseason to get this team over the top, to fix the lines. That's all we needed. And then you do not go into the season with a capable backup. And I've said it 1,200 times. I'm sorry, but it just blows my mind that you let all of that talent leave. You had quarterbacks begging to come here. No, we're good. We're good. We got this. And it's fine. J.J. McCarthy may be the greatest quarterback in NFL history in 2 years. But you can't throw away an NFL season. This is not a developmental league.
Yeah.
You got it. Fine. He can work out at TCO all week long. But somebody else has got to be in there because the team, the defense, right? You played before. You get into self-preservation mode when you're getting killed, or you don't think you have a legitimate shot at winning the game. I'm not going to go in there and bust my head knowing that, why? So I stop them for 3rd and 1, and then they punt to us, and we give it back in 3 plays.
I guarantee you some guys are already thinking about their off-season vacations and where they're going to be booking their
brochures are starting to arrive at TCO right now.
It's building up right now.
Bahamas, yeah.
It's tough, man. I mean, you just think about guys like Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. Like, you're talking about, like, J.J. McCarthy's development will kind of, like, hinder their – I won't say their contract talks, but in years, to come. But it's like – they look at these years, and there's no asterisk that says, like, well, J.J. McCarthy was really bad. We'll take that with a grain of salt. It's like, no, you didn't. Your numbers were this, and that's how teams negotiate. That's how you get paid. And so you feel for Justin Jefferson. He's had over 1,000 yards, and every year he's been in the NFL, that's in jeopardy this season.
Right. He's a Hall of Famer. He's going for NFL records that many thought were not possible. And now, if he has this season continued to going where it is, where he's catching 45 yards, 60 yards a game.
How many did he have today?
I don't even know.
Let's see.
Can't be much.
It was under 50 today.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what he ended up with.
47 if I'm not mistaken. But
Justin Jefferson, 4 catches for 48 yards on 6 targets.
Let me see this. That's tough because I think for the season he's under 700 total. and you have 6 games remaining, and based on this average, I mean, okay, he has 747 yards this season, so he's on pace to get to that 1,000 yard
he was
mark,
looking for 2,000. He's looking to set NFL records.
Well, not with this offense. It's not going to happen right now. And then the other interesting thing, especially about this game, we're in week 12, and this was the first game that this Minnesota offensive line has been healthy from left to right.
and they didn't even make it through.
They didn't even make it through. They lost the entire left side of the line as Christian Darrisaw and Donovan Jackson both left the game with injury. J.J. McCarthy was still sacked 5 times, pressured a lot more. That interception, that first interception that he threw, he was under duress. His arm got hit, or the ball got hit as he was releasing. It resulted in an interception. So, all the investment that you made along the offensive line, it took until week 12 for them to be completely healthy from left to right. And in the first half, it didn't look too bad. They looked like they were running the ball pretty efficiently in that first half.
They had a great half running the ball.
And this is where I'm starting to wonder. And listen, I think Kevin O'Connell is a brilliant offensive mind. I think he's a great coach. I don't think Kevin O'Connell is in any danger by any means, and nor do I believe he should be. But I'm starting to wonder if Kevin O'Connell is refusing to swallow a little bit of pride because he's insisting the offense looks like one thing, and it absolutely is not working. Do you put an extra tight end in there? Hell, do you put an extra offensive lineman in there and just go to ground and pound football? Why would that suddenly be a bad idea? Because your quarterback clearly cannot get it done, and you're constantly putting him in a position to where he's not getting it done. Now, not all of that falls on Kevin O'Connell. J.J. McCarthy's got to make the passes that are there for him. He did that a little bit here today. But once again, the second interception that he had, once again, I have never seen a quarterback on a consistent weekly basis put the ball about 3 feet over his wide receivers' heads.
Right.
He does it on a consistent basis
Yeah.
every single week. Where are the mechanics? Where's the coaching to get him ready to go? Because we are seeing consistent mistakes being made week after week, not improvement. And that's why I'm starting to hit the panic button a little bit on J.J. McCarthy, because by this point, even though it's only been 6 games, by this point, I thought I would have seen improvement. And then the moment Miles Price had that ball hit him in the back on a punt return, right then and there, before the Packers even scored a touchdown, right then and there when they fumbled it away, I said, this game is over. This game is over, because you cannot count on this offense to overcome a double-digit deficit right now. You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, Miles Price with some costly mistakes week after week in the return game.
Well, what is that? I mean, that's 3 straight weeks now that special teams has put the Vikings in a bad spot. You had the kick return last week after they took the lead against the Bears, where they just had a huge return.
Yeah.
Got them into field goal range today. A deadly mix-up where you don't know where the ball is, and it hits you, and so that's
why Miles Price being a rookie. I mean, you just got to get out the way. Like they said on the broadcast, it's poison, it's Peter. You hear that, you get away. You don't need to go block the gunner. Who cares if he stops the ball from rolling 5 extra yards?
Right, whether it's
get
at the 7 or the 2, it doesn't really matter.
So my thing is, that's just a rookie being a rookie, thinking he has to go block this guy to stop the ball from rolling an extra 5 feet. It's just like too many mistakes week after week. To Pierre's credit, I mean, they did kind of go ground and pound. I mean, they ran the
In
ball
the first half.
a
Yeah,
ton.
but then you got away from it.
But
that's
the thing.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
do you give up
couldn't
on it?
stay with it. You got to. JJ has to be a quarterback eventually.
Yeah.
You got to be a big boy.
Yep.
Like you got to go make some throws. And so it's like you can only run the ball so well, but then when you run on 1st and 2nd down and you're faced with 3rd and 6 and you need to pass and they're teeing off on you because they know a pass is coming,
Yep.
you can't protect your quarterback in that situation. So I think Kevin O'Connell is letting the outside noise get to him, because we've seen Kevin O'Connell be aggressive on 1st downs or 2nd downs and then get into those 3rd and 1s. Now he's like, all right, you guys want to run the ball? Cool. We're running on 1st and 2nd down. All right, 3rd and 6, can't complete a pass. That's not my fault. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Guys are supposed to do their jobs, as
Exactly.
he's saying. Guys are supposed to do their jobs.
so it's like, where do
Yeah.
you go?
Yeah, well, and then you had the 3rd and 1, and then you come up with a trick play, a direct snap to T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, that was bad.
It's like,
That's bad.
what are we doing here? You have as you said, your full offensive line is here. You should be able to get 1 yard on your own. You don't need to trick the Packers into something to get a yard.
well, in this game in particular,
If you need to do a trick play to gain 1 yard, you've got more problems than just a quarterback.
I would agree with that. And you can't stick to the run because you fall behind again. I mean, you're falling behind in the second half, but
Yeah, but I'm talking about that opening drive. They ran the ball perfectly.
Yeah.
They got down there.
Well-
and then they had a big run by Aaron Jones, got the first down, and then 3 straight incompletions.
I think
like why change?
We the first drive of the game, obviously, you've got scripted plays built in there, and after the scripted plays are out the window, I'm seeing this team not able to execute anything that's called in the huddle, like whatsoever. The first drive looks fine. Like, okay, this is looking all right. First half, it's looking all right. But then after that, when they need their quarterback to make a play, to Ahmad's point, he can't make a play. He can't make a play. And it's a combination of things, obviously. But if I'm in the locker room right now and all the players are going to say the right things about J.J. McCarthy when they're asked about J.J. McCarthy, they're all going to say the right things, and to their credit, they have been doing
professionals.
that. But everybody has eyes. Everybody can see what's happening. What is happening is this young man is not developing at the accelerated pace that they thought he would be at by this time. And if you are going to continue to commit to him, which is now the rest of the season now is all about J.J. McCarthy's progression. That's what you're watching for as a Vikings fan. You're only watching right now because you want to see if J.J. McCarthy suddenly starts to turn a corner. That is the only thing the Vikings and the fans really need to see for the rest of the season because the team is not making the playoffs. It's just not happening.
Agreed.
Passer rating 34.2.
Was that today or overall?
That's today. That's today.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. This is just a terrible weekend in Minnesota sports. The Timberwolves, the Gophers, the Vikings. I mean, my God. It's like, where's the silver lining? And we still have 6 more games to go. I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer. Like, I've been full of optimism on these podcasts after games, but today was a brutal watch. And like Pierre said, you want to see some improvement week to week. Like you want to have something to hang your head on. Like, all right, well, you know what? That throw was amazing. Oh man, he flat.
Right?
Where do we go? I mean, there was no silver lining. There was no optimism today. Kevin O'Connell looked dejected after the game, speaking to the press. From what I understand, Justin Jefferson looked defeated and deflated in the locker room following this game. I mean, the playoffs are all but over, as Pierre mentioned. He's been kind of hitting the nail on the head the last couple of weeks. I was the one that was a little fool and wouldn't believe that. Now I have no choice but to believe it. But then, like I told people before, all right, they're like, well, we should tank, throw in the towel. Okay, well, Kwesi hasn't proven anything with the drafts, so you don't have.
What do you take?
And you
don't
have
draft a quarterback again,
and you don't have a ton of money. So it's like, where do you go? And so I don't know. I think a lot of Vikings fans are kind of frustrated right now. You wait all year for this time of year, football season, and then after 10 weeks, you're already like, well, our season's over. Like, and August is a long ways away. So
there's only so much this defense can do too. I mean,
those guys have been great. I don't put anything on that.
It says 23 points, but I mean, it's tough because it feels like a little bit of a cheap touchdown after the fake punt. I mean, pinned down to your own 5. Doesn't really give you much of a chance. I mean, so for all intents and purposes, it feels like the Vikings defense only gave up 16 points today.
And that's been the story every week. You feel like they give up less than the offense puts them in situations where they have to give up points.
145 total yards for the Vikings today, I believe. 145 total yards. What was it at one point on the broadcast in the second half? They put up a graphic of Green Bay accounting for 110 yards of total offense in the second half. Minnesota was negative 22.
Yeah.
I think
Green Bay had the ball for 37 minutes.
Yeah.
And 15 seconds.
I'm pretty sure the Vikings didn't have over 100 yards in the second half.
Oh, there's no way they possibly could have because, I mean, I
think they had 4 yards.
I think
4 yards for the whole half.
I think JJ was at 71 yards at the half, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, everything was completely downhill in the second half. There can't be a player, and again, like I said, they're all going to say the right things, but I'd be hard-pressed to find one player in that locker room right now that feels like playing inspired football because they're not inspired right now. What is there to have them be inspired over? I don't see anything right now. Not one thing.
It's going to be a tough locker room on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, man. Have to ask these guys what they're eating on Thursday because
yeah, you're not wrong.
They're not going to.
Well, and then look at this. If you're a free agent and this is the way they finish out, you going to be interested in signing here?
Then you got to go to Seattle where you watch your boy who led your team to 14 wins last year. Now you got to go watch him and play him next week. And if he carves them up, Look, I was an advocate. You couldn't re-sign Sam Darnold because then you don't.
Right, it's $50 million,
you
and I
yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
My guy's Daniel Jones. That was the one. You have to have a competition for every position. No position in the National Football League do you just go with your starter and then we don't really care what's behind him.
So what are you putting in your highlights tonight?
Green Bay highlights. That's what you're going to see. Wait till Pete Bursich shows up. His texts are very interesting after that game right now.
So do we think they get more than 6 wins this year?
No, I don't see who they're going to beat. Who's left?
You got
left?
Washington, you got Seattle,
Detroit
you got
again.
Detroit.
You're not going to beat Seattle.
You got Green Bay again.
You're not going to beat Green Bay.
Detroit.
Going to take them apart.
Dallas, New York Giants.
Maybe, but that's on the road. Giants.
So
but
you
the
got-
Giants all of a
You
sudden
got
are
Seattle,
decent.
you got Washington, you got Detroit, you got New York, Dallas, and then Green Bay again. And I'm missing one more. I said,
It is right.
Yeah.
They already played Chicago twice.
Doesn't sound like a lot I'd put the mortgage on to get the win.
Dang, that's tough.
I think, if you're a Vikings fan watching right now, like I said, just accept.
Bless you.
Just accept where your team is at right now. Just accept it. Accept where it's at. Look ahead to 2026.
This was supposed to be a Super Bowl year, though.
but it's not.
This is supposed to be a championship season.
Well,
you
and
can't just say, sorry. Don't worry about it. See you next fall.
So
people invest in these teams. The
Yeah.
players invest in these teams. People like Harrison Smith came back because he thought there was a legitimate chance we're going to be good. That's what everybody told him.
So who do you want to point the finger at?
I think you got to go upstairs.
Of course you do. Why the hesitation?
Gotta go upstairs.
Of course you do. Of course you
But
have
they
to point
just
the
got
finger.
extensions.
Well,
both of them just got extensions.
Correct.
So you don't. If you think that's what needs to happen, I'm not advocating for that. But the
No.
Commodores, I'm sure, are looking for some heads to roll. I mean, what changes do you make? Your offensive coordinator is just basically a puppet.
Yeah.
He does what O'Connell
Correct.
says, right?
Well, I mean,
That's all he does.
Well, Kevin O'Connell calls the plays. I mean, so
Right.
I mean, like, here's the deal.
So are you going to change him?
Here's
no,
the deal.
because O'Connell still makes the calls. Flores is doing everything he can.
Kwesi
I think he's
Dofomensa.
unbelievable.
Kwesi
with what he's had to deal
Dofomensa
with.
obviously has a very
He needs
poor
a new
draft
scouting staff.
Well,
he may do great on the numbers and on the contracts. Got JJ signed, did a great job there, but they need to look at that
that's part
scouting
of-
staff.
that's
because
part-
the GM doesn't go to all these college football games and watch all these guys. He's counting on people feeding him information.
Well, that's part of the issue too. Well, before this offseason, and it's been weird because in the history of the NFL, traditionally, most successful teams are built through the draft. It's
the only way you can survive.
It is, and through free agency, you see some of the teams you get a corner here or defensive end there, and that's those one or two guys really make the difference. And Kwesi, to his part, up until the last offseason, has knocked free agency out of the park for the most part. And it's weird because normally it's the flip side. So you swing and miss sometimes on free agents, and that's part of the nature of the beast. I mean, I'm not going to really crack down on guys for that, but he's done tremendously in free agency. He's done very poorly in the draft. This year, the offseason, has looked not well. They didn't have any draft capital to begin with in the offseason. Free agency wise, meanwhile, at the time it looked like they were making moves in terms of, like you said, in the trenches, offensive, defensive line. These look like veteran guys that could come in and help this team right away. That has not worked. So that's the first swing and miss really in free agency that I've seen from Kwesi Dofomensa. So I'm not going to sit here and try to put his head on a spike for one bad free agency, but it does set them back. And yes, there have to be consequences for what you do if your team gets set back. Obviously, there's not going to really be any consequences because, like you said, the Will family has signed both of those guys to extensions, and I would imagine they don't want to pay two guys to not work for them.
Right.
So right now, you're kind of stuck with where you're at. You're kind of stuck with where you're at right now.
Would you like to join us, or you just siesta back there? You just don't even want to talk about it.
I don't know what to say. I mean, he's right. You're stuck. Like, you're not firing Kwesi. Kevin shouldn't be fired, but I do think he needs to kind of tweak his offense. Like, he has a lot of long developing plays. I mean, he's doing his best. You can tell, like, he's changing the way he calls plays and whatnot, but at some point you got to expect more from 9, and 9 has to play better.
I got a question. what happens when, I'm not going to say if, but when, I mean, of course, the lawsuit has something to do with it. What happens when Brian Flores becomes head coach somewhere else?
That's not happening ever again.
Oh, no, I disagree entirely. Once that lawsuit gets taken care of, he will absolutely – if Brian Flores was offered an opportunity to be a head coach of a football team in the NFL, he would absolutely take it. He would absolutely take it.
I think this league colludes like no one else.
I don't disagree.
I just think all those owners will band together and be like, all right, you won this lawsuit, but you're not going to get a head coaching job.
I don't disagree on that point, but at the same time, too, not every single NFL owner is stupid. They see what this young man is capable of.
I don't know. Nobody touched Kaepernick with a 10-foot pole, and
that was a completely different circumstance.
Same thing. You went against the league. He went against the league. You go against the league. You
called him out for racism.
Are knocking your head off.
But here's the difference. I see a difference with those two situations right there. Colin Kaepernick's talent wasn't worth the baggage that came with him. Brian Flores can run a football team. I wouldn't say he was bamboozled in Miami. He spent 3 seasons as the head coach there. He didn't make the playoffs one time. I mean, that's really enough time for you to. However, he was absolutely cut off at the knees in his first season there. For the most part of the second season there. The only reason why he didn't continue on as the head coach there is because he and Tua didn't get along. He wasn't instrumental to the development of Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I would want to get a coach perhaps like him who has a lot of talent. You can see him push the right buttons at the right time. I wouldn't mind getting him the second time around when you learn things, when you got to take a step back, take 2 steps forward. And I think that would be a situation for Brian Flores if there is an owner out there that is willing to take the gamble on him. Now, you'd have to ask Brian Flores, they would come to him and say, are you willing to drop the lawsuit? Are you willing to take a buyout? Can we work something out? He's probably not going to sell out in that regard. I can't imagine him doing that.
Doesn't seem like it's in his makeup, does
it? But if there is a scenario where there's an NFL team out there that is willing to work with him and the league in order, if they want him bad enough, if it was offered to him, Brian Flores is not saying no to that. What's he going to do? He's already still works for the league. Is he just going to be happy just to be a defensive coordinator the rest of his career? He's not going to do that. Why would he just accept a secondary role when we all know he's good enough to be the head coach somewhere? If it was offered to him, he is not rejecting it. He's not.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just don't think that's going to get offered to him.
I don't think that's.
I think he's moving forward with that lawsuit. He's not going to let his foot off the gas pedal. And if he happens to win or they settle, he will never see the light of day as a head coach in the National Football League. Not when you won a lawsuit, basically, alleging like racism and all this other stuff that he did with the owner down there in Miami. Like you're not getting a job. Like the owners in the NFL, they're such a tight knit group. Like they stick together. Like you don't typically see owners come out and rebel against one another.
There's too much money at stake.
Yeah.
You don't be a renegade owner.
As much as I want to see Brian Flores be a head coach again, like I am an
advocate.
Hope he does.
He'll be a head coach again.
I just
he'll
don't
be a head
see
coach
it happen.
again. I definitely think it'll happen one day.
All right. So, what has to happen this week?
Pray.
How do you? Was that pray?
Yeah,
pray.
That's it.
Well, I'm not talking about Thanksgiving, your meal, before you devour that.
Well, they're going to need to do that too.
What do you do with McCarthy? What throws is he capable of completing?
Well,
that's something you have to. That's, I guess, the first step is what can he do consistently, repeatable. You can make this throw every single time. Accuracy. I mean, he overthrew Aaron Jones right at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. First thing.
That was just a check down. I mean, Michael Parsons was breathing down his neck. You got to get rid of that football.
I saw two good throws today. One in the first quarter over the middle on the first drive of the game to Justin Jefferson. I thought that was a great throw right over the middle. And then there was another throw in the second quarter again to Justin.
Yep.
Tight window. That ball was exactly where it needed to be. You couldn't place it any better. I mean, that throw was spectacular from J.J. McCarthy. It's just when you watch him drop back to, you could see the hesitation. You could almost hear his own thoughts in his head through the TV. There's hesitation. He wants to go down. It looks like he wants to go down the field. You see him pump a little bit, and he starts to get happy feet. The decision-making, the concrete, confident decision-making is not there. It's almost as if he doesn't trust himself.
Well, he just had his neurological paths rewired.
Well,
it takes a while for those to set.
You asked me what it looks like. What's it going to take? It's going to take some confidence. And there's unfortunately his play has not garnered confidence from his coaching staff to his teammates to even himself. even the simple plays, because they were talking about it on the broadcast, they mentioned on the broadcast that Kevin O'Connell would talk about J.J. McCarthy. You don't need to hit the home run ball every time. Guy gives you 4 or 5 yards, take 4 or 5 yards. I saw some of that today, but even the simple throws we've seen over the last 3 weeks, the simple throws get airmailed. Right. They get thrown behind guys. It's too inconsistent. I
did see a little bit of growth, taking a little bit off his fastball for routes underneath and things like that. But in regards to what throws he needs to make all of them. He's a starting quarterback in the National Football League, putting him out. You got to be out there. And if you're going to start, you got to be able to make all the throws. I think they need to stop babying him, let it rip. JJ, have that effort mentality that Justin Jefferson says the team needs to have, and go play ball. And if you lose the next 6 games playing ball and you're chucking it all over the field, and at least you found out what you don't have in your quarterback and what you need to go get this offseason. So let him go play football. Open up the playbook, call every trick play, call every tool you have in that bag, and see what you got from 9. Because one thing you need heading into this offseason is clarity.
Right. So, yeah. Because if you can't go into the offseason feeling like this right now about your quarterback.
Nah, you need to see what you got. Because the last thing you want to know is be like, man, well, what if we would have did this? Or maybe we should have tried this. Try everything. Try every throw, call every play. And then dissect the film this offseason, see exactly what he's good at, what he's not good at. Offensive line is pretty much set in stone with the exception of maybe Ryan Kelly, maybe a question mark surrounding him. But he's still signed for another year. Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, they're here for another year. Jalen Naylor's here for another year. TJ Hawkinson's probably gone after this year. They're probably going to dump that salary. So Josh Oliver's here. He got an extension. So the offense is set. So then you just got to figure out what you got in your quarterback and figure out some defensive stuff.
It's confusing, too, because, Ahmad and I were out there for 2 straight training camps watching him throw, watching him get out in the offense. And last year, in his first training camp, we both saw a guy pushing Sam Darnold for the number 1 job. I thought he was neck and neck with Sam Darnold for that number 1 job in training camp. So it's extra confusing to me as I'm like, where did that guy go? Mm-hmm. Where did that guy go? What happened? Is it a situation? Listen, I know he wasn't the reason Michigan was Michigan, but J.J. McCarthy played in a lot of big games and in high-pressure situations, and he played well in those situations. So I don't think it's an issue of he's scared of the moment or the game is too fast for him. It's like, am I looking at 2 different guys? Because there was a guy in training camp in his rookie season who looked pretty good. We were there every day. I trust what I saw. And then until he got hurt, obviously we all know the story from there. But I'm just left wondering, where did that guy go?
His confidence is shot.
Yeah, shot.
Yeah. And like Pierre said, you can't play in this league if you don't have confidence. That's in any sport. So he's going to have to find it. He's going to have to do some namaste before the game and get deep into meditation. But he's got to channel 9 like you talked about. And he got to go play ball. Like, you got 6 games left, rip it, man. Like, it is what it is at this point. You're not going to the playoffs. You got to go out there and try and save your reputation. Because if not, that offseason is going to be even worse than what this regular season is.
Exactly. All right. That's enough. It's all we can stand. We'll let you go. 23-6 the final. Your Vikings go down, and we are going down now as well. We'll see you next week.